We've made it to the halfway point of this 2021 college football regular season, and today, as we head into week 7, I'll be giving you guys the first edition of my 2021 college football bowl projections. And as we head into mid-October and the halfway point here of this season, we can start to look forward to bowl season now, because we're starting to see which teams are the big contenders and really how good each team is in college football this season. So from here on out, starting this week, I'll be giving you guys a bowl projections list on Monday of every week. So that being said, let's go ahead and get started with the first edition of 2021's bowl projections here today. I'll be giving you guys projections for every bowl game, including all of the group of 5 ones. So we started with the Cure Bowl. I'll be going through these quickly just so we can get to the New Year's 6 bowl games, and the bigger bowl games I'll do a little more analysis on. But we got Cure Bowl here, Appalachian State and Liberty. Bahamas Bowl, Marshall and Kent State. Boca Raton Bowl is Ball State and Western Kentucky. New Mexico Bowl, Utah State and Middle Tennessee. BYU lands in the Independence Bowl against UAB. BYU, even if they take 2 or 3 losses, I think Independence Bowl is a pretty reasonable landing spot for them. I mean, of course, if they were undefeated at the end of the season, they should be in a New Year's 6 bowl game, but I just don't see that happening for BYU now that they've taken 1 loss. Then we got Louisiana Tech and Louisiana in the New Orleans Bowl. That'd be quite a matchup there. Charlotte, Eastern Michigan in the Lending Tree Bowl. LA Bowl is Fresno State and Central Michigan. 2 pretty good football teams there in the LA Bowl. Then Myrtle Beach Bowl is Coastal Carolina and Florida Atlantic. That's where CCU lands, is against Florida Atlantic. UTSA's got Houston in the Frisco Bowl. Idaho Potato Bowl is Toledo and San Jose State. And then your Armed Forces Bowl is Boise State and Army. So, of course, you got Boise State, a team who just beat BYU. Potentially, they can take and get a few wins off of that huge quality win against BYU, gain some momentum there, and finish out at a decent bowl game against an Army football team. On to the second list here, we got Gasparilla Bowl as Virginia and Air Force. That's your first Power 5 team in a bowl game, being Virginia there. Then we got Hawaii and Memphis in the Hawaii Bowl. I think Rainbow Warriors probably should land in the Hawaii Bowl. They typically do, so I think that's a pretty good landing spot for them. Then Northern Illinois, Nevada is going to be in the Camellia Bowl. We got in the Quick Lane Bowl, Miami, Ohio, and Purdue. Purdue is going to be the final Big Ten team in. So I've got 11 Big Ten teams in bowl games this season, 11 out of the 14. So obviously a pretty good turnout there if that happens, but Purdue is the last team in. They'll play Miami, Ohio. Military Bowl is Boston College in East Carolina. Birmingham Bowl, Western Michigan, and Missouri. Missouri, I believe, is the last SEC team in, I believe. And then we got First Responder Bowl, SMU and Wyoming. Liberty Bowl is Kansas State and LSU. So I do have LSU making it to a bowl game. So I think LSU and Liberty are the final 2 teams in the SEC to get in. Iowa State and Maryland in the Guaranteed Rate Bowl. So I've got Iowa State finishing out as 4th or 5th in the conference. Then we got Maryland, of course, who they're still a good football team. It's going to be tough for them to get 2 wins in the next 6 games for them. But I definitely think it's possible for Maryland. I think this is a Maryland team that could get 6 to 7 wins this season, even though they've had a rough past couple of weeks, to say the least, with their losses to Ohio State and then Ohio State and then Iowa a couple of weeks ago. Miami and Oregon State in the Holiday Bowl. And then we got North Carolina and Baylor in the Cheez-It Bowl. Fenway Bowl is Pittsburgh and UCF. And some of you guys may be questioning the Holiday Bowl there. Usually it's a Big Ten team against a Pac-12 team, but that has since changed. It's now ACC versus Pac-12 in that matchup in the Holiday Bowl. And now on to some of the bigger ones here. Pinstripe Bowl is Virginia Tech and Minnesota. I've got the Golden Gophers making a bowl game. UCLA's got Oklahoma State. That would be a good matchup in the Alamo Bowl. Music City Bowl, Indiana versus Tennessee. Tennessee would be a pretty good landing spot. I mean, with it being in their home state, I think Tennessee would, and considering where they're at right now, I mean, they're playing actually pretty well. I could see Tennessee end up landing in a bowl game for sure. And I think they played Indiana a couple of years ago in a bowl game as well. So that'd be an interesting matchup. Then Wake Forest and Auburn. Wake Forest is the only undefeated team left in the ACC, but I actually do not have them winning the ACC. So I've actually got a different team, which will be mentioned later on, winning the ACC. But Wake Forest, they'll be up there. They'll still be in a good bowl game against Auburn. Then we got Utah and Nebraska in the Las Vegas Bowl. Utah's a pretty good football team, and Nebraska's 3-4 right now. But I do think that they win 3 of their last 5 games. That's a pretty good football team considering their record. Arkansas and Clemson in the Gator Bowl. Clemson doesn't even make it to a New Year's Six bowl game. They'll be in the Gator Bowl against an Arkansas team, which is pretty talented. So that would be quite a matchup there, Arkansas and Clemson. I'd definitely be excited for a matchup like that. Pittsburgh and Arizona State in the Sun Bowl. Arizona State, I think, would be a pretty reasonable assumption to be in the Sun Bowl, considering their skill level, but also, I mean, it's in their home state as well. Buffalo and San Diego State in the Arizona Bowl. And then we got Texas A&M in the Texas Bowl. That would be quite a game there, Texas and Texas A&M. I think that's very possible that we see those two rivals go head-to-head against each other once again. I mean, it would be a chaotic matchup, that's for sure, but I think it'd be a very entertaining one. So I actually hope that one happens. That would be quite a game between Texas and Texas A&M, and it's also in the Texas Bowl to boot. So that's on January 4th. So that being said, let's start looking at the bigger bowl games here. We got two bowl games outside of the New Year's Six bowl games. Here we got the Citrus Bowl and the Outback Bowl, and then we'll be on to the New Year's Six bowl games. So Citrus Bowl is Michigan State and Florida. This would be a huge game for both these teams here. Florida obviously is a good SEC team. Obviously, they got upset a couple of weeks ago, but I think that Florida ends up finishing out the season strong, and they end up in the Citrus Bowl. Michigan State, also a very good football team, but I don't see them ending up in a New Year's Six bowl game. I think Michigan State ends up in the Citrus Bowl, which is still a very good bowl game without a doubt. So we got Michigan State and Florida here in the Citrus Bowl. Outback Bowl, we got Wisconsin and Kentucky. I think Wisconsin, I mean, they're still a talented football team. I think they finished out the season much better than they started. I mean, they had a tough start to the season scheduling wise, but their strength of schedule isn't quite as bad. They should get some good wins in here in their last few games. So I think Wisconsin does end up making a decent bowl game, potentially with 7 or 8 wins here in the Outback Bowl, and maybe even 9. We'll have to see what happens there with Wisconsin. But then we got Kentucky. Kentucky's playing very well right now, but I think that, I mean, Kentucky's going to be rated much higher than Wisconsin heading into this matchup, but I think Wisconsin would be a very favorable opponent here. I think we got Wisconsin. Wisconsin is the, I forget what team. I think they're 6th or 7th team into a bowl game, so that'll put them in the Outback Bowl. I've got several Big Ten teams in New Year's Six bowl games this season, just because, I mean, right now, heading into Week 7, we've got 5 Big Ten teams in the top 10 of the AP poll. So Big Ten looks to be the best conference in college football as of right now. Wisconsin, I do think, ends up in the Outback Bowl against Kentucky. Kentucky is, once again, still a very talented football team, so this would be an outstanding matchup. On to the New Year's Six Peach Bowl. We've got a Big Ten team in the Peach Bowl. Michigan is going to face ACC champion NC State. I've got the Wolfpack currently winning the ACC. I mean, Wake Forest is a good football team, but I just don't see that team winning a conference title this season. NC State, I think, pulls it down the end. NC State has played well under high-pressure situations. Wake Forest over the past weeks, the past 2 weeks in particular, has had close games to Syracuse and I believe Louisville, which those two wins by, what was it, 3, I think, against pretty terrible teams. That's not going to get you into a New Year's Six bowl game, into an ACC championship. So NC State, I think, is the better team. They will end up making it to a New Year's Six bowl game to play Michigan in the Peach Bowl. But once again, some of these New Year's Six bowl games are definitely up for grabs for sure. I mean, a lot of these at-large teams have got Big Ten teams in, but obviously it's kind of rare to see a Big Ten team in the Peach Bowl, but I definitely think it's possible this season. Fiesta Bowl is Penn State and Notre Dame, another Big Ten team here. Penn State ends up against Notre Dame in the Fiesta Bowl. This would be quite a matchup here. I could see, I mean, Penn State and Michigan both could swap between Peach Bowl and Fiesta Bowl in this situation. I mean, I could easily see Michigan play Notre Dame as well. But I've got Penn State and Notre Dame in the Fiesta Bowl right now. And this would be also a great matchup between two very talented football teams. Sugar Bowl, we've got Oklahoma and Ole Miss. Oklahoma's going to win the Big 12. Ole Miss is going to finish out, I think, as the, what did I have them? I think 3rd or 4th team in the SEC. So we'll see. I think it was 3rd for Ole Miss the more I think about it. So, yeah, Rebels make it to a pretty good bowl game against a talented Oklahoma football team. But I do think Big 12 champion will end up in Oklahoma's position. So if Oklahoma wins it, they'll be there. If it's Oklahoma State or Texas, they'll be there. So, once again, the Sugar Bowl, we got the Sooners and the Rebels. Rose Bowl, we've got Oregon and Iowa. I've got Iowa making it to the Big Ten championship game, but losing to a particular team, which is in the college football playoff, which we'll get into in a couple of seconds. But Iowa's going to finish out as the 2nd team in the Big Ten. I I mean, Iowa's a very talented football team, but I just don't trust their offense yet. Defensively, they're nothing short of outstanding, but offensively, I got to see a little bit more for me to truly think that Iowa is a college football playoff team. I'm not going to jump the gun just because they've played a few good games. But then Oregon, I've got them winning the Pac-12, but I could easily see Arizona State winning the Pac-12 as well, so could potentially be Arizona State and Iowa. But I've got Oregon and Iowa right now in the Rose Bowl. That being said, let's get to the college football playoff semifinal game predictions. Ohio State's going to win the Big Ten, and it sounds like the same old record. Some of you guys aren't going to like this, but Ohio State is going to win the Big Ten, I do believe, right now. Once again, we've still got several weeks of this college football season, so this could change. But as of the past 3 weeks, this Ohio State team is playing outstanding. I mean, if you look at their first couple of games, Ohio State looked terrible. They lost to Oregon, and they had a couple of closer matchups to Tulsa. That was kind of a sloppy game there. But Ohio State since then is very much improved. They can contend with anyone in the nation right now. If you put Ohio State and Alabama against each other, I would really be surprised, or I wouldn't really be surprised to see it be a very close matchup. So Ohio State can play with any team in the nation right now. They're playing better, much better than they were at the beginning of the season. So watch out for the Buckeyes. Alabama on the flip side, I mean, this is a team that if they do win out, without a doubt, they're in the college football playoff. But the questionable thing is whether or not Alabama is going to be if they win the SEC, will they be number one, or what position will they be in, because they're a one-loss team, and I'm assuming they'll be Georgia in the SEC championship game. But honestly, yeah, it's quite a lot to process right now, just considering we're in the halfway point of the season. But I mean, Georgia and Alabama, it'll be quite a showdown there in the SEC championship game, assuming that they play each other later on. But I do have Alabama making it to the college football playoff. I mean, I just don't see Alabama sitting out, even though they did lose this past weekend to Texas A&M. Then for the Orange Bowl, we got Georgia and Cincinnati. Cincinnati's going to be in the college football playoff. I mean, the Bearcats there's a lot of pressure on them right now, because even one loss, if Cincinnati takes one loss, if they slip up once in the next few weeks, they're out of the top four. So it's impossible for them to get to the college football playoff, even if they take one loss. So tons of pressure on Cincinnati, but assuming they win out, they should be number 3 or number 4. I'm not quite sure which position they would be in. But I do think Cincinnati easily makes it to the college football playoff if they stay undefeated. And I've got them playing Georgia, the number 1 seed right now, in the Orange Bowl. So, and obviously with the Orange Bowl, in the Cotton Bowl, we don't know quite yet which seeds will be playing in each bowl game. So we could see Georgia and Cincinnati in the Cotton Bowl and vice versa for Alabama and Ohio State. But we'll have to see what happens there. Those haven't been announced yet. But I appreciate you guys all watching. That's going to wrap it up for me today. I'll give you guys updated bowl projections next week. But that being said, appreciate you guys all watching as always. Stay tuned for more from All Sports Central. I'll see you guys all later.